It's kind of like obsessive compulsive disorder mixed with an eating disorder. Like if they had a kid, it's kind of like what I have.
It's this monster almost, like inside of you, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a misperception of the things that you think have happened or that you think you're feeling, and it's that attempt to hide it, like you're not good, like there's something wrong, and you have to smother and bury it, and like the only way sometimes that people know how to do that is with food or without food, or you know, with weights or without weights. Just trying to cover up this like part of you that you think is unnecessary, and it's a death trap. It's a death trap.
It's hard. It's hard to put it into a definition because it's so different for everyone. Ultimately, it's just not being happy with yourself. People try to define them too much, and they just try to say this is exactly what it is and this is how you're diagnosed. And treatment centers say you're above this weight so you can go now, and it's nothing like that. Eating disorders are all mental health issues, and they're just a cover-up for whatever's really going on inside.
It was my junior year of high school. I was in a very, very bad relationship, and my ex-boyfriend compared me to a girl who was about 4 feet 10 inches and 103 pounds. And that made me feel absolutely awful about myself, and it literally just destroyed me, basically.
Well, I think I've never liked how I looked ever my whole life, hated myself. Growing up in high school, people always called me fat and chubby and made fun of me, and I just didn't like how I looked. And then I think I started college, and it was very hard because I was alone most of the time, and I started going to the gym all the time and working out, and I started monitoring what I ate, and it started to get extremely obsessive.
I kind of noticed my BDD, my body dysmorphia, just going into college, my freshman year. I was always very obsessed with how I looked in high school, but that was more appearances. I went to the gym with my older brother. He's one of my best friends, if not my best friend. And he played lacrosse all through high school. He played hockey all through high school. He played lacrosse in college. He was a bodybuilder. So he was very built. I was not. I was always the smaller kid. I played music. I never really worked out much. Really underweight. I was only about 125 pounds at that point. And I'm 5'6", so that's really underweight for me. So we went to the gym, and I remember standing next to him in the mirror, and he's the same height as I am. And just the difference in the way that our bodies looked, it destroyed me. I wanted to look like he did, and I hated how I looked, so that's what really spiraled me, I guess, out of control.
The first time I heard the term body dysmorphia was actually from my mom when I was a junior going prom dress shopping. I obsessed over this blue dress. I loved it to pieces, every part except for one, the part around my waist, my lower hips to thighs. There's just this piece of fabric on either side that stuck out and was wrinkly, and then it made me look like I had this huge muffin top, and I was just so upset. And my mom, after I told her about it and told her how upset I was because everything else was perfect, she just kind of looked at me and went, "Oh, that's just your body dysmorphia. We're getting it, like it's perfect, it's fine." And that was the first time that I could finally put a name to all those feelings I had since middle school.
The first time I realized I had it was probably when I was in an abusive relationship. He was not very supportive of me going away to school, and he would always make me stay in my dorm room, so I just turned to food quite often because I had nothing else to do. And then after that relationship ended, I was okay for a good 2 years. And then probably last August, when my grandfather passed, I started eating my feelings again, so I knew that my eating disorder was coming back. Sorry. I went through a phase where I would eat just to keep myself alive. I didn't eat very much, maybe 400-calorie meals. So I was living on about 1,000 calories a day. And this was from March to, maybe beginning of March to end of May, and I lost 40 pounds.
Since I was little, I always felt like I was taking up space. I grew up witnessing eating disorders, you know, my mom, my dad, my grandparents, everybody, my sister. And it was this learned behavior of, you know, there was something not okay with the way I looked and the way, you know, my skin jiggled when I walked and that, you know, my ribs weren't out enough, and it became this, you know, competition with myself then to see how much weight I could lose.
I was a college athlete. I got recruited to play lacrosse at Kutztown, and I just started training, and it started off, it was fine. I was just like, people were like, wow, you look so good, you're so healthy, this is awesome. And I was just very proud of myself, and then it kind of turned into this addiction, downward spiral, and off came the pounds, and then off went the friends, and off went so much. And I came here in the fall, and I played, and then I blacked out in the field, got kicked off the team. Wasn't allowed to play, had to be hospitalized.
I had people tell me I looked like a movie star, and people said I was beautiful, and I just wanted everyone to tell me how good I looked, because I just did not like myself, and it didn't really matter because I still didn't like how I looked.
When I see myself in person, it affects me in a certain way. Like, some days I'll look perfectly fine and I'll even like the way I look, and others it'll just be awful. When I look in a mirror is when it's worse, I think, because after a while, like, it just starts not, I guess, sort of distort or enlarge, or whatever the problem is, just turns into something out of control, I guess.
I really started to just obsess over my weight and how I looked and what I looked like in the mirror. And I really started just picking myself apart, and it destroyed me.
I feel like there's a stigma attached to mental illness where just because you can't see it means it's not there.
It's kind of scary. The scariest part about body dysmorphia is the fact that you're seeing things that don't exist in real life, or apparently don't exist in real life, but you still see them. So you start to lose touch with reality the longer you look in the mirror.
And it's just a daily struggle to know whether or not I can make it through the next day, or like that's all I think about. I go to bed crying. Wish I didn't have this issue, but it sucks.
It's just sad because I know how it feels, and it makes me sad that there are people, both male and female, that go through it. They look in the mirror and all they can do is point out the flaws. They can't see like what really is beautiful about them, and I don't know, it's very sad. Everyone's beautiful in their own way, and all that matters is if you're healthy, whether you're 170 pounds or 150 pounds or 120 pounds. It doesn't matter as long as you're healthy.
I just want to be like the voice for the voiceless.
I do see things, which is what makes it hard for me to understand. But there is something wrong with me, and that it's not something to be ashamed of. Just stay strong. It takes a lot, but you are beautiful.
I was sick of it, and that's not to say that, you know, I'm recovered, because I think once you add that ED at the end of recovery, you know, which is funny because ED, eating disorders, but once you add that ED into recovered, it means you have nowhere else to go. So I'm gonna always be in recovery, and it affects me every day, but I'm not gonna let them destroy me anymore, because I spent too many years doing that. There's no shame in having a disorder. It's a mental illness, there's no shame.
And it's okay, like it just one day at a time, just baby steps is the best advice I can give.
There's so much more to life than eating disorders.